Now, every child as a member of a family and a community has a responsibility and a right to good life. Remember, children are not properties. They are not objects of charity. They have a right. They have a life. They have their own responsibilities. Do you even know the rights of children? Today, we will be joined by Lewis Gishahi, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, who will be helping us understand about the rights of children, what are our responsibilities as parents and guardians, and what does the law state about the rights of children, especially to those who violate these rights. Join me, Celestian Waka, the favored, as we delve into our show tonight, hoping you're going to have an enjoyable and more educative show. Welcome to today's episode on Legally Speaking, and today we are also going to look at the rights of children. Last week we talked of what happens when one parent or parents separate and the children are left in between. But then what are their rights? Do we even know the rights of children? Children, like every other member of the society and the community, has a right and a privilege to enjoy all through the development of his or her life. Children are not property, they're not objects that can be pushed forth and back, because they also have rights that they need to enjoy. So welcome on board. Today I am with the lawyer Lewis Gishahi, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. He has been in practice for over 6 years, and he's here to share with us, taking us through to help us understand exactly what we need to know about the rights of children and what does the law provide, what does the law stand for, especially for those parents who do not stand and play their responsibility in regards to providing and ensuring that the children the Lord has blessed us with are entitled to all the rights. Welcome. You can speak to us to 22914. You can still follow us on our Facebook page, Mwangaza TV, and equally on our YouTube channel, Mwangaza TV Kenya. With all due respect, welcome into our show today.
Thank you.
All right, so who is Lewis?
Well, Lewis is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, practicing for, as you've said, over 6 years. And I run a law firm by the name Lewis and Company Advocate, located at Muthaiga Square, second floor, room 203.
All right.
Yes.
So thank you. Today we are gathered here to just be enlightened on the rights of children. And someone may be watching and he or she is wondering, so who is a child? When, according to the law, who is a child?
Thank you. I would like to start by saying that children are the most vulnerable part of the society. And the protection of children is just not a legal issue. It's also a morality issue or a moral issue. And when we talk of a child, the Constitution provides that a child is someone below the age of 18 years. So anyone who is below the 18 years legally is a child. Yes.
What does the Constitution provide? Because we know we have the Constitution of Kenya. We also have Children's Act.
Yes.
So what does the Constitution provide in regards to children? Now that you've mentioned anyone below 18 years, that is as per Kenya as a nation.
Yes.
What does the Constitution provide?
Yes. Thank you. The Constitution really took care of the children and especially their rights, because if you read Article 53, which is contained in the chapter we call the Bill of Rights, it provides the rights of children. And when you see a provision on the Bill of Rights, it really means that the Constitution took care of such as a fundamental right that should not be violated. So Article 53 mentions a number of rights. One is that a child has a right to a name. A child has a right to be named. You can't just bring a child into this earth and you just leave them without a name. So they have a right to be named, and they also have a right to nationality. They have a right to nationality. So if a child is born in a hospital, for example, he will be given what we call a birth notification. And it is through that birth notification that you then acquire a legal document that we call a birth certificate. But let's assume a child was not even born in hospital. The parent or even the government has a responsibility to ensure that this child is given a name and a nationality through that document that we call a birth certificate. So that is one of the rights. Another right provided under Article 53 is the right to basic needs. A child needs to be provided with the basic needs that we know, that is food, shelter, and clothing. A child also has a right not to be tortured, from torture. And the Children's Act that was enacted in 2001 and later amended in 2022 also elaborates a number of rights that we shall continue expounding. And I would say that the amendment that happened in 2022 was to ensure that the Children's Act is in line with the Bill of Rights as per the Constitution. If you can remember, we enacted the Constitution in the year 2010.
Yes.
But the Children's Act had been enacted in 2001. So the amendments that happened in 2022 were to ensure that the Act is in line with the provisions of the Constitution. Because as you know, and as we say, the Constitution is the supreme law.
Yeah.
So can we continue discussing the other rights?
Yes.
A child also has a right from what we call unfair cultural practices. For example, we have heard of FGM,
Yes.
we have heard of early marriages. So a child has a right to be protected from early marriages. Another right provided under the Children's Act is that a child has a right to basic education. And that is a right that is to both the parent and also the government. A child has a right to be given basic education. Another right is that a child should be protected from forced labor. You cannot give a child work that is equivalent to what should be given to an adult. That can be interpreted as forced labor. Another right provided is that a child has to be protected from drugs. Either the government or even the parents are obligated by the law to ensure that child are protected from abuse of drugs. We can go on and on. There are so many rights. I would think of also a child has a right to be given education. We talked of basic education. We talked of a name. We talked of a nationality.
Yes.
We talked of right not to be violated or harmed. A right not to ensure that they are given, not given forced labor. A right to ensure that they are not violated. And so many rights that can be activated from the Children's Act.
Exactly. Now, with the rights that have been mentioned,
Yes.
We realize that more often, we as the guardians or the parents do violate these rights.
Yes.
And there are times when we do not even consider the right to say basic needs.
Yes.
Considering the case of many of our children who are in the streets. And these who are in streets, not all of them are orphans, or not all of them have no home. Most of these children have places they call home. What does the law stand for in such a case to ensure that this child receives all its rights, or maybe the right to basic needs?
The Children's Act provides that the responsibility to take care of the child is basically an equal to both parents.
Okay.
Equal responsibility in terms of taking care of the child.
Yeah.
Let's assume a child has both parents.
Yeah.
There's no parent who should say that the other should give more than the other. The Children's Act provides for equal responsibility. However, we know that there are situations where a child will find themselves, they don't have one parent, or a child does not have even both parents. That is where also the government comes in. The law binds the government to ensure the protection of these rights that are provided under the Constitution and also under the Children's Act. So there are two tiers of protection of these rights.
Yeah.
Number one is the protection by the parent.
Okay.
And if a parent is found to be violating any of these rights or not providing any of these rights when they are capable, there are of course steps that can be taken. The second tier is the government. The government also has a responsibility to ensure that these rights are protected and also provided. For example, the right to basic education that falls squarely to the government. Yes.
We've had issues also, talking from layman's view. We've also had issues of government stepping in, yes. But how does it ensure that even those who are in marginalized areas equally receive or are catered for as per those in urban setups? Because we, based on the statistics, especially the education one, we realize that those children who are in marginalized areas don't get the rights, but even the government doesn't know. Is there a way the government stipulates that even those children when you're chini, they are able to maybe channels of communication, a way the message can be passed through the law society or something like that, just to make sure that they are being helped?
Thank you. The Children's Act has provided so many administrative procedures and bodies that should take care of the children. I would start by saying we have the children officers. The children officers are in every county or sub-county level. And the Act mandates them to ensure the welfare of the children are taken care of. So essentially what the law provides is that they should ensure that within their jurisdiction they know that there are no children who are either being violated or children who are not getting the rights as provided by the law. Let me also come to, for example, the right to education. The county government has been given the responsibility, and especially for taking care of what we call, there is a name we give to the lower classes, the nursery schools, given to the county government to ensure that this right to basic education is provided at the grassroots level. However, we have so many other institutions and bodies that people can report to, including our body, the Royal Society of Kenya. If we get to know that a child needs either legal representation or a right provided for a child needs to be exerted or protected, we'll take up such matters. We also have FIDA that protects women, but not only women, but also children. So all these issues can be raised at all these different levels. And especially also reporting to the nearest police station in case such things happen. But as I indicated, the responsibility to provide and to ensure these rights are taken care of falls squarely to the parent and also the government. Yes.
Wow. Our viewers, we continue ndani ya Legally Speaking, and we are here talking about the rights of children. And just as a lawyer has mentioned, there are several and many rights that children are entitled to. And something that you've said, it is our responsibility, especially the parents and the guardians, and of course the government. The government has to step in when these responsibilities are not being carried out as per the law and as per the Children's Act. Maybe someone will ask, so what are my responsibilities as a parent, apart from me providing the food and doing that? What are my sole responsibilities in raising these children? Yeah.
I started by saying that the protection of children is both a legal and a moral issue.
Yeah.
So as a parent, I believe every parent has a moral issue to an obligation to ensure they give guidance to their children. But that moral obligation can extend to be a legal issue if such guidance is not given. So I would say parents have an obligation to give guidance in terms of the development of the children, in terms of the provision of the basic needs that we talked about, that is shelter, food and clothing, in terms of taking care of these kids, taking them to school, and even health. One of the rights that I did not mention or we forgot is the right to health, either provided by the government or the parent. So I believe that a parent has not only a legal issue but a moral obligation to ensure that children grow up in the right way.
22914 Facebook page yetu Mwangaza TV. You can equally follow us on our YouTube channel Mwangaza TV Kenya. Taking a break, we shall be back shortly.
Unatazama
Went for the break. I am with lawyer Lewis Gisheha, advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and today we're actually talking about the rights of children, what should be done. Before we went for the break, we had highlighted the different types of rights of children and what is our responsibility as the caregivers to these children. But then there are times when these children go beyond our own expectations. We find them committing crimes here and there. What does the law provide, or what is the best action that can be taken to these children to just help curb? Welcome back, because we have to really discuss and understand this. So welcome once again. We've had children who go beyond our expectations. You know, every parent, as we raise our children, we don't expect them to commit crime, but then we find them committing crime. Where do they stand with the law?
Thank you. Again, we go back to the Children's Act. It has really discussed children who are in conflict with the law. And the Act emphasizes a lot on rehabilitation and reforming rather than punishment. So a child who finds themselves in conflict of the law, the main aim of the law is not to punish, but is to ensure that there is rehabilitation and reforming. And through that, the Act has provided what we call children institutions, whereby you find that if a child finds themselves in conflict of the law, they are not, or they should not be taken to the normal remand stations. They should not be taken to the normal prisons. The Act has provided a provision of children centers, where the aim, if a child is taken there, is not for punishment, but is to correction and to rehabilitate them after reforming. Yes. Someone
may ask, if someone commits a crime, maybe at age 17,
yes,
and he's taken to the correctional facilities, he attains the 18-year mark when he's still serving his, should I call it a sentence? When he's still serving the sentence, is he transferred to the normal? If, for instance, if he had been imprisoned, is he transferred to the normal prison, or he remains there until he serves his term?
He will remain there until he serves the correctional guidance on punishment directive given by the court, because what matters is when the offense was committed. Yes. And the offense is at when it was committed by a minor and not an adult. Yes.
Wow. I know that is a question that most of us will want answers to, because we've had cases of minors committing a crime, and we know that they have been sentenced, but when they will be transferred or whether they'll come back home has been a question that most of us, to children, and not just to young children or small kids. We've even seen children 16, 17 years, teenagers, being overpunished, if that is the best word I can use, by parents or guardians. What does the law provide for? Because we've also seen leniency in the punishments that are given.
One of the rights that we mentioned, or that is provided, is protection of children from inhumane treatment.
Yes.
When we talk about inhumane treatment, then a punishment can go beyond the normal purview of a punishment.
Yes.
You know, we were also punished when growing up.
True.
But when a punishment goes to the extent of injury in a child, the extent of causing harm or injury, then that can fall into what we are calling inhumane treatment. And every other right, as we indicated, that is provided by the Constitution or the Children's Act, when violated, then it becomes a crime, becomes a crime that you can be prosecuted on. So if you are found to have treated a child in an inhumane way, that will be a violation of that very right provided by the law, and therefore you can be charged and even be punished by the courts of law. Yes.
Do you think your field is doing enough? to help curb this? Sorry for that question, but it's really important that we respond to it. Do you think you feel now the law and whatever, the offices and the bodies that are taking care of this are doing enough? Because we've had cases of children being murdered and the culprits are given a shorter sentence, they come back to the society. We've had cases of rape, minors being raped, being sodomized. The culprits will serve a shorter sentence and they'll be back in the same society where we still have children. Do you think you're doing enough? And if not, what should be done? What strategies maybe should be put in place just to make sure that we are protecting our children?
Yes, thank you for that. I would say post the 2010 Constitution, a lot has continued to improve than it was there before. With the introduction of the children's officers, it is very easy to take and note these matters. With the introduction of the children's courts, nowadays we have courts specifically to deal with children's matters. With the introduction of the children's centers that we have talked about, I would say much as we are not there, a lot has improved, and I believe we'll continue ensuring that whatever is provided under this act is achieved.
The law gives room for children, and above everything else, the rights of children are upheld. True. Do children have a voice in matters concerning them? And till when can they, what is the limit to which they can have a voice?
Children have a voice. If you read the Children's Act, one of the primary rationale of that act is to ensure that the best interest of the child are considered in whatever circumstance, whether it is in violation of those rights, whether it is parents who are divorcing, whether it is matters of education of these children. The act has given children a voice because the primary rationale or consideration when dealing with any children's matter is the best interest of the child. So I would say the law, and especially the Children's Act, has given the children that right, because their best interest will have to be taken into consideration first, whether couples are divorcing, whether
what happens when couples are divorcing? Are children given a voice? Are they do their opinions count?
We have the Children's Act that governs matters to do with children. We have the Marriage Act that will govern matters to do with divorce. The reason why I say that children have a voice is because the Children's Act indicates that in any matters that touches children, the best interest of the child will have to be taken first. Even before we come to why the divorce, the children should be, for example, in school. Even before we come to who should provide the school fees, the court will ensure that the child is in school. It does before anything else. So the best interest of the child is one of the principles that the Children's Act has emphasized on. Yes.
Wow. Your final remarks as we wrap up our show today?
My final remarks is to ensure that everyone watching us knows that children are protected by the law. The Children's Act has given them a lot of right to be heard, and that's what we are calling the best interest of the child has to be considered. And so as we continue to deal with matters of children, I would want to emphasize again that it is both a moral issue and a legal issue. We have a moral obligation to ensure that children are taken care of, but far to that, if they are not taken care of, the law will come in and ensure that the rights provided are indeed complied with. Yes.
Wow. Always remember that children are not your property. They are persons on their own. They deserve love. They deserve to be cared for. They deserve to access the best health. They have rights of their own. Just make sure that you ensure these children get the rights. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Our next show will be handling and dealing with something else. Thank you so much, Lawyer Lewis, for giving us the time and the opportunity and the insights into the same. May the same God bless you and do you well. See you next time, but remember 22914, Facebook page yetu Mwangaza TV and YouTube channel Mwangaza TV Kenya. I'm Celestine Wakathe Favored.